So how's the president doing on foreign policy?
Bad. I mean, he came into office, during the campaign, I'm going to end the wars. Well, the wars aren't ending.
No, they're not, and they're in disastrous shape. We're gonna get to the polling in a second, but first, Adam, thoughts on Trump's strategy of I'll run on anti-war, then I'll be the most pro-war president you could have.
Yeah, Trump keeps having this line about ending 8, 9, or 10 wars. And I guess the question is, are they all just wars he's begun at this point? Because he's ended this Iran war 20 separate times and doesn't seem to be able to find an off-ramp. He promised to be the no new wars president. Now, all of us are watching as he struggles to jump from the Iran war to Venezuela, even threatening Greenland. What I really want to point out is that we've all seen this story before. We've seen US politicians and neocons lie about the Middle East. They said that we were winning against Iraq, we were winning against Afghanistan, that the bad guys were being taken out. And then it turns into decades and decades of a grinding counterinsurgency where it turns out the US was losing. We're spending trillions of dollars on these failing wars. And now they want to repeat this exact same thing. They're trying to gaslight Gen Zers and every generation by saying, we're gonna win, that this war is going well, that it's gonna benefit us. I don't believe a single word they're saying. We've lost over a dozen US troops. We've spent all of this money. We've destabilized the region more. We've killed thousands of people, not only throughout Lebanon and throughout the Middle East. And on top of that, we can't get control of Israel. Israel is breaking these ceasefires before they're even beginning. It's humiliating for the United States.
Indeed. In fact, it's such a retread of the old movie. Condoleezza Rice came out today saying we got to attack them over there before they attack us over here. I mean, and I remember the media saying, oh, we're going to learn our lessons. We're not going to repeat those false allegations of weapons of mass destruction. Right now, they're all screaming their heads off, weapons of mass destruction, which don't exist, just like in Iraq. And by the way, Adam's right. Today, Trump went back to threatening Cuba because we don't have enough wars. And again, Adam, you're so right. I don't know if he realizes ending a war doesn't count if you started it. But now, the good news is, unlike Iraq when it first began, we were on there because we're ancient. And at that point, it was still a popular war because mainstream media had lied through their teeth to pretend that Iraq had attacked us. They lied and lied and lied us into that war. We found out later, of course, it was for Israel. Now, though, they have not done a very good job of doing propaganda for this war. So the American people have caught on. It's not just us. Watch.
In 2024 versus Kamala Harris, foreign policy was a strength for this president. He was trusted more in foreign policy than Kamala Harris by a 10-point margin. Among independents, he was trusted more by 14 points. Come over to this side of the screen. The net approval now on foreign policy in 2026. Down he goes, right into the Strait of Hormuz. Look at this. 22 points in the negative direction, a minus 22-point net approval rating. That is a drop of over 30 points. And among independents, he is now at minus 30 points. You know I love those notes at the bottom of the screen, Johnny B. So that is a movement of 44 points among independents.
Yeah, you guys know I hate scams, especially the ones that target seniors. And Medicare, chock full of them. You've got commission-hungry brokers steering people toward whatever pays the broker the most, not what's best for you. Unfortunately, that's the whole game for so many of them. So here's who I actually trust. A company called Chapter. We did our homework on them. They're independent Medicare advisors, the only ones that compare every plan nationwide. The best plan for you is out there, and Chapter will help you find it. Folks who switched with Chapter last year saved an average of $1,100. Chapter's advisors are honest. They're not paid to just steer you to certain plans. They work for you, not big insurance. A guy on our team had his dad call. Turned out he was already on the right plan, and they just told him so. So they're not looking to push anything. Their entire focus is on finding what's right for you. It's free, it's under 20 minutes, so skip the scams and call Chapter today. Call 805-201-2275 for Medicare help you can trust. That's 805-201-2275. So look, I've got more polling and Trump's reaction to it, but Adam, I'm gonna bring you back in here. So first off, I mean, look, doesn't this seem obvious? Both parties say that they're going to be anti-war. They get in office, they are pro-war, and then, yeah, the Republicans definitely do it more than Democrats. But the Democrats break all their promises to the point where people didn't believe Kamala Harris because Joe Biden said that, oh my God, we're going to keep the Israelis in check and we're worried about the Palestinians, and then he handed them a $21 billion thank you check for the genocide. So, wouldn't it make sense for one party to just do what they said, and that would result in massive landslides for as long as the eye can see? And B, isn't it kind of obvious that neither side is doing what we want because of the donors? They don't care about the voters at all. And it's not just Israel, also the defense contractors in this case.
Yeah, I mean, people point this out, but Israel and AIPAC are a really good litmus test for my generation and other generations to see if these politicians actually stay true to their word or if they are easily swayed by these special interest groups. And like you pointed out, it's not just AIPAC. There's defense contractors, there's healthcare lobbyists, housing lobbyists, people who want to distort the incentives of politicians, and they're successfully doing so. When it comes to this war, I just want to play around in their framework for 1 second. So when Donald Trump started this war, he listed about 4 different goals. Regime change, he said no more missiles, no more nukes, and he said no more funding of the proxies. And that's burned into my brain because I sat across from Scott Jennings and these people debating week after week, and they kept promising that all of this would come. Now we can debate whether or not they're actually trying to create nukes. I don't think so. But even if we were to concede to that framework, they have not achieved any of their goals. They still are doing the same thing. We've actually probably created an even stronger situation for Iran because now they have control over the Strait of Hormuz, and now they can toll the Strait of Hormuz. We have gotten nothing out of this while eating all of the cost. So we're going to war on behalf of Israel, which Marco Rubio admitted early on. We're bearing all of the cost of this war. We're sending hundreds of billions of dollars. We're sending our troops, we're sending our equipment, we're sending our missiles, and we haven't gotten any of the concessions that were stated by this administration, right?
Yeah, so you're right. There's 2 different factors. Number one, American people didn't want this war in the first place. It was about 80% didn't want it. And now it's going terribly, and we're not getting any of the so-called stated goals. So now that's a double whammy for him. In fact, that leads to these latest results.
The president said he was going to end the Russian war on Ukraine in 1 day.
Yeah, he said he was going to end it in 1 day. Well, I don't know about you, but here in reality, the war is still going on. And obviously that has been in the news very much recently. And you could see it right here, Trump in the Russia-Ukraine war. Look at this, in 2024, again, it was a strength for him. Slightly more trusted than Kamala Harris by 2 points. You come over to this side of the screen. Again, the net approval, the shift very much in the negative direction. Down he goes now at minus 19 points. That's a 20-point switch. And among independents, we're talking about a shift from plus 7 points, them trusting Donald Trump more on the Russia-Ukraine war, to now his net approval rating negative 36 points. Again, over a 40-point shift away from the president of the United States. Trump's net approval rating in Iran, in March it was minus 19 points. You talk about here, look at this. Again, you start in the negative at minus 19 points. You say it can't get any worse. It absolutely has gotten worse. We're talking now minus 28 points, a shift again of about 10 points in the negative direction from an already low.
So Adam, the CNN is doing a fine job of reporting what the polling results actually are, and that's helpful. But overall, as you see presidents, both Biden and Trump, on purpose deciding to be less popular, significantly, massively less popular, which is supposed to be the opposite of what they're supposed to do. And you see none of the reporters can figure out why. They're not even trying to figure out why. And the answer is obvious, it's their donors. So it's impossible not to get frustrated by corporate media saying that, no, we're the worst reporters in the world. We can't figure out why the politicians are choosing to lose elections, choosing to be unpopular. It's the money, Lebowski. Am I missing anything?
No, you know, to add on to that too, I think corporate media disappointed me a bit after Lindsey Graham passed away. Like, no one has to dance on his grave right away. Corporate media, I don't expect them to do that. But right after Lindsey Graham passed, all of these corporate media anchors were coming out with these really sappy posts. It'll be like them and Lindsey Graham with thumbs up. And it would be like, I spent decades being very close with Lindsey Graham. It was really disappointing seeing this type of whitewashing of somebody's legacy, somebody who brought us to war, somebody who defended ended these wars until his very, very last day. So corporate media clearly has a problem where they feel like they're forced to play defense or walk certain lines. But the fact of the reality is, Trump said he would have no new wars. Now gas prices are up nationwide, and there's no end to this war. We have no end in sight. It's really interesting because when Trump did sign the memorandum, there was one clause in the memorandum of understanding that said Israel should withdraw its troops from southern Lebanon. The memorandum was dead on arrival because Israel refused to withdraw his troops. Bibi Netanyahu is a war criminal. He has no incentive to withdraw these troops. So think about this. Our gas prices are spiking. We are stuck in this war, and it's because Israel is breaking the ceasefires or breaking the memorandums as they are being introduced. It's just like this treadmill of Trump being played by the Iranians, not being able to figure it out, and Netanyahu continuing to break whatever sort of deal maybe happens. It's just all a song and dance that is hurting the American people. It's no surprise Trump's popularity is dipping. When it comes to Russia and Ukraine, I mean, Trump has lost any moral high ground to speak about this issue, not only because of his distorted view on foreign policy, but when we're funding Israel actively, when we're threatening Greenland in this same way, I don't think Trump has any moral high ground to talk about no new wars in this manner.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that corporate media has no moral high ground at all, or no morality at all. Because, I mean, Lindsey Graham advocated for the Iraq war that got hundreds of thousands of civilians killed. That's not a little thing. They're like, yeah, but I knew Lindsey Graham. I don't care that you knew Lindsey Graham. Oh, but I was friends with Lindsey Graham. That's actually the core of the problem. You're a reporter. You're supposed to challenge the government, not kiss their ass, especially a warmonger monster like Lindsey Graham. 23,000 dead kids in Gaza, but our press is so much worried about the feelings of the Israelis and whether they've been offended. And the Israeli supporters, oh, are you offended? Who gives a damn? How about you care about the 23,000 dead kids? Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.